So happy wife, happy life. We've all assumed that's the case, and we've all done our best as men to make sure that, we have done what it takes.
Have you?
Most whatever we could to keep our wife as happy as possible. But it turns out, ladies and gentlemen, that a new study, actual research shows that the happy wife, happy life statement has no predictive power. In fact, women are not the barometers of a relationship's health. Let's talk to one of the researchers. Matthew Johnson is a professor of family science at the University of Alberta, involved in the study. Mr. Johnson, thanks for being here this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk a little about this because my co-host doesn't necessarily believe the research here was on the up and up somehow. I'm not sure why. What did you do to come up with this?
Yeah, so there's a long-standing idea that women's experiences in relationships are more consequential for the health of relationships than men's. So whether it's happy wife, happy life, whether it's if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy, or in scientific circles, an idea that's circulated for the last 4 decades is that women are the barometers of relationships, where women's experiences and perceptions are more predictive of what's likely to happen in the future of that relationship than men's.
Okay, so I just have to say out of the gate that my own interpretation of happy wife, happy life wasn't so much that we're the barometer, but just that we can make things really miserable.
Wait a sec.
No, but I'm serious. I felt like we have, like, if we're not in a good state of mind, we can make the whole household not in a good state of mind. Whereas I find if guys are not in a great state of mind, they might not be as vocal or have as big effect on everybody. But that's not true. Your study found that men and women are equal barometers?
Yeah, so the happy wife, happy life idea wasn't really our central focus, but more just this idea that women's experience is more consequential for how a relationship is going to go compared to men's experiences. So, yeah, lots of interpretations there. Obviously, any, popular saying is not super precise and open to interpretation. But, yeah, so what we did is we tested this idea of whose experience is more predictive of the future in mixed gender relationships, so man's or woman's. And we surveyed a whole bunch of couples for daily intervals, so following over 900 couples daily for up to 21 days, and then over 3,000 couples yearly for up to 5 years. So getting those micro intervals and then the longer-term picture as well. And what we found is, women are barometers of relationships. Their happiness at a given point in time predicted future satisfaction for themselves and for their partners. But men are also barometers of relationships. Their satisfaction was just as strong a predictor as women's of how that relationship was likely to go in the future.
Okay, that's good to hear. Now, when we talk about a study, how many people involved in this?
3,000, right?
Yeah, so in total we were up over 4,000 people, and we had more than 50,000 reports of relationship satisfaction. Wow. It's kind of a mind-boggling amount of information.
And you went I love the fact that you did this. It's not just day to day, you also did year to year. The scale of this is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, so the idea is in day-to-day lives, obviously that's how we live, but for, most couples, if we're thinking about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there's not that much change that happens over that short time scale. So some problems or some, major changes in a relationship really do take time to develop. And so we wanted to bring in that longer time interval to really provide a rigorous test of this barometer idea.
Well, what constitutes a major change? Are we talking about pregnancy and children coming into the relationship?
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be job changes, pregnancies. It could be, the development of some problematic behavior like too much drinking or gambling or, any of the big changes that can happen in life, positive or negative. See those over a 3-week time span.
Yeah, so let me just repeat again the summary here, Natasha. There was no evidence that women's satisfaction was a stronger predictor of couples' relationship satisfaction than men's satisfaction at either the daily or yearly level.
I like some of the texts we're getting. So we got a text from Ajay, who's a regular contributor here. He's a workplace, I forget his title. But anyway, he says that my wife thinks the happy wife thing is offensive and sexist, so instead they use happy spouse, happy house. And another one saying that their rabbi says the same thing, happy spouse, happy house. So you're taking the gender out of it, and this works for same-sex couples as well. Is that a better... gauging by what you've found in these study results, would you say, Mr. Johnson, that is a better way to put it? Happy spouse, happy house?
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that a lot since this went live last week. A lot of people have commented on that, and I think that's a great summation. And yeah, really, it does highlight that both people in a relationship, regardless of gender, have the power and ability to direct how that relationship is going to go in the future. And it also does highlight that men have responsibility as well. A lot of times I think the relational labor in life gets kind of lumped onto women's shoulders for whatever reason. And men have just as much ability to shape and craft the future of their relationship compared to women.
So, and then in turn, they should be able to shoulder some of that emotional baggage and take more on, perhaps.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of couples would be happier if that was the case.
I agree.
Wait a sec. Okay, Mr. Johnson, I want to thank you for the time today. I was going to ask you if there's any tip you can offer here. I realize that's not necessarily what research does here, but from the findings at all, what would you tell men or women who kind of look at this and thought this was just a truism?
Yeah, so, I mean, I have a vested interest in this topic as well. I've been married for 15 years. I have 2 little kids. My wife and I, we're trying to make this work on a day-to-day basis, just like, so many other people out there. And so I'll tell you what I take away from it is, what happens today in my relationship is indicative of what's going to happen tomorrow, and also hints at what may be going to happen even future, farther into the future. So if things are going particularly well, I need to register that, reflect on it, and figure out what is happening here to make us happier than normal and double down on that, capitalize on it, and reap those rewards. Yeah, the flip side of that is if things aren't going well, I need to also recognize that and not do my tendency, which is to just kind of grit my teeth and hope that it goes away, but actually deal with it, contain it, cope with it so that it doesn't spill over into the future.
Double bonus relationship advice. All right, Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for your time. It's fascinating. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks for having me.
Take care. Matthew Johnson at the University of Alberta. Some interesting points at the end, right?
I like especially
focus
the
on the good. What is it?
working.
Accentuate the positive, and what's the other half of that? Eliminate the negative. Well, maybe not eliminate it, but think about why it's there in the first place. Yeah.